G'day folks, today we're having a look at Matchbox's boxing of their Mitsubishi Zero, or Zero-Sen as it's referred to here. Now this, as you can see, is one of the 1970s boxings. Indeed, it's one of the first releases from 1972. And I decided the other day, when I was reflecting on Roy Huxley's life, that it would be good to show some of the 70s boxings in addition to the 80s ones that I really remember from my own time. I used to still see these earlier boxings around, but more often than not in the newsagents we had the later ones. But I thought I would do that because, well, after reflecting on Roy Huxley's life the other day, I think that these artworks really represent the pure essence of what he was trying to show in his art. A lot of action going on. And also, because I've got a few of these earlier boxings, it would be good to share those as well. So we start having a look at the box. Of course, as we can see here, there's a lot going on. The caption says it's Zeros from the carrier Akagi attacking Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. And of course, there's a real lot going on here. But looking at the box, on one side we have the images, the box arts from 4 other of their kits. So you'd get one and you'd see the other ones, and of course that'd make you want to get other ones as well. Then on the end here we see what you would see if you saw them in a pile, so you knew what you were getting. Quite obvious what it is. On this side we've got line drawings rather than the perspective drawings used later, showing what the kit would look like if you put it together without any paint but with the decals. That's the colours. And then of course we have the same thing on the other end, so they could be put either way. And it looks like that this one costs 95 cents. And on the back we have the 2 varieties of artwork. We've got the one from the Akagi as seen on the front cover, Pearl Harbor, and then we've got one, interestingly, Matchbox chose to have a training example from the Naval Air Corps Operational Training Unit. And then on the side there's information about the prototype in different languages. Now, being a 1972 one, there's an interesting little thing here. It says Scale Models July 72. Someone's written that. So whether there was a Scale Models magazine that included a copy of this kit or a example of this kit when you bought the magazine as a bit of a get to know Matchbox, I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments. Now, having a bit of a look at what's inside, we open the box. Oh, and we can see on the inside there's information as well. It shows the multi-position display stand and the different angles that you could put the models at. Not only that, but you've got a bit of a painting guide on the end. Information in different languages on this end, and a painting guide again. So good use of space. So looking at the box, what do we have? So we have Decals in there. Well, so this is what you get. Looking at the instructions first. Now these were the ones where they used the 2 colour, the purple magenta maybe, as well as the black and white to make it clear that this is one of the purple range of kits. On the front cover we've got a bit of information plus the monochromatic, duochromatic version of the artwork. In the rear fold we have Hot Hints, Guide to Better Modelling, and some really useful things there. Paint the pilot while he's on the sprue. Go easy on the glue. Use elastic bands to hold it together while it dries. Use clippers or scissors there, some sort of clippers to cut the things off rather than twisting them off. Be sparing, use a toothpick to apply the glue in cases. And use tweezers to hold the struts. And what's this one? Something about painting. I don't know, paint with the... Oh yeah, mask it off and paint it that way. Use pencils to draw the camouflage markings. And hold your thumb on the decal as you're removing the paper rather than sliding the decal onto the model. So just some useful information. As well as the... look at this. My complaint is... And my address is, if you return it in the UK only, to the customer service department of Lesney Products, you could tell them what you think. Now looking at the instructions, so we've got just a little bit of information about modelling and all, the do's and don'ts. So looking at the typical Matchbox 8-part instructions, we've got glue the pilot onto the seat and a bit of info about that. Then put the arrestor hook and the seated pilot inside and glue the fuselage sections together. Then put the prop through the engine with the backing plate to allow it to spin. Then put the forward decking, the canopy and the assembled engine on. Then we have tail planes go on here. Number 6, we put the wings together with the cannons and together and on, and the radio mast. 7, put the undercarriage together. And 8, put all of the various assorted bits and pieces on underneath. Drop tank, tail wheel, main gear. And just where every care is taken to ensure your Matchbox kit has been made to the highest standard. In the unlikely event of a complaint, please fill in the attached form, UK only, and that's this one. So that's the 8-step instructions, and on the rear we've got just information, paint plans, etc. Plus a listing of the other kits that you could get. Great way to hook you in. Looking at the decals, quite simple. A lot of Hinamaru's and the Mitsubishi Zero label which goes on the model stand, plus the various lettering that goes on the fin and rudder. Now the clear parts, of course, we have the canopy, which is a bit thick by today's standards, but it painted up nicely and did the job. And of course, what early Matchbox release would be there without the stand. Now, of course, that stand is in the shape of an M, something I only realised a long time later. And then you've got the movable head, I suppose you'd call it, plus the vertical section with the ball that the head sits on. And then you cut the little notch out in the fuselage. On it goes, as it showed on the box, in all sorts of different angles. Then the first of the sprues in a sort of an orange, reddy orange colour. I don't know that the camera does it justice. Having a look there. It doesn't have a great amount of detail, of course. The panel lines are recessed. You can fill those in. Basic detail there. And of course it's got the prop, undercarriage doors, fuselage decking, engine, undercarriage, the wheels and intake and various bits, tail wheel and the drop tank. And then on the inside, basically no inner detail, but doesn't matter. It's a good one. In the other sprue, we have the wings and undercarriage legs and doors, as well as the pilot and the seat, cannons, arrestor hook. So the wing detail there, can't really, bit of detail. Recessed panel lines, big ones, but if you wanted to, you could fill those in. And that's this side. So here we have a comparison of the 3 different manufacturers' 1 to 72nd scale Zeros. Well, the 3 that were easily available to me when I was a kid. Firstly, we have the Matchbox one, top right of course. Then on the left we have a New Zealand made licensed version of the Revell kit, released as a Revell model, in the bag that was commonly made in New Zealand. That was the style. We had them here in Australia too, at Coles Embassy supermarkets mainly. And then we have the Hasegawa A6M2, and having a look at the box art, or the bag art, whatever you want to call it, you can see there that the Roy Huxley artwork really stands out. The Hasegawa one is technically a very good painting, but doesn't have the action. And then we have the 60s one over here. So let's have a bit of a closer look at the other two. So the first one, of course, the Kiwi made bagged Revell one from 1963. Let's crack her open. 62 years old this year. I've got a couple of these, so I don't feel bad about taking it out of its original packaging. Of course, cardboard, a couple of staples. I've pre-removed the staples, and then we have the bag. I noticed here on the other side, it had the price that I remember in the 80s. 98 cents. That's what Safeway variety stores. And then taking her out of its bag, what do we got? Let's have a look. We've got, rivets, Rivetty rivets. The sprues were not nearly as neatly done as Matchbox. Some of them were fairly loose. A lot of rivet detail on the wings there, upper and lower. Single page instructions. A, B, C and D. That's how you do it. A little bit of information about how to do it. Oh, there we go. Putting the rest of it together. You can do it here, gear up, gear down. And again, two-piece engine, well, three-piece, the prop, the backing plate and the engine itself, so you could spin. And then quite a simple painting guide. And the decals. I haven't seen this for years. The directions for use as the Revell kits. And so, fairly simple markings here. Had it right the first time. Now from memory, this kit was pretty good as far as the Revell ones went together. Of course, in the 80s, this was a 20-something-year-old kit. Ancient. But I think of what's a 20-year-old kit now, and it's the early 2000s. So yeah, maybe time was a lot more stretched out as a kit. Then we have the Hasegawa variant. 1972, same year as the Matchbox one. Again, technically very good art, I suppose you'd say, but it didn't have any of the action or excitement that the Roy Huxley Matchbox one did. Having a look here, in the bag, you only live once. These kits are made to be opened and made, if it'll let me open it. Well, let's see here. Unboxing. So, quality that you would expect from Hasegawa. Excellent decals. The canopy on it's on a little frame and quite fine detail. And some rivets here, which was unusual for Hasegawa. They did away with them fairly quickly, but this is the 72 moulding. And so you had the fuselage halves. You had variations of drop tanks and all. A two-piece engine, a lot more detail, two different engines actually. A lot more detail in the Hasegawa kit, whether that was because it was the nation that built the Zero, I don't know, but yeah. So a little bit of rivet detail on the wings, but a lot more panel lines, and you even get the little plaque you could put there. Then the instructions. Hey, let's put you back in here. Okay, we get two. First one, history of the type, a diagram, marking diagram, painting suggestions, and it gives the different colours, and then fewer steps but with written instructions there. So there's the first one about put the cement pilot figure into seat in cockpit, cement cockpit to right fuselage side, left to right, and so on. You put the engine, wings, tailplanes, canopy, and all of the underneath bits. So that's the first of the instruction sheets. What's this one? Okay, so this is a marking and colour painting guide. So more detail about that there, nothing on the back. So looking at this, the Hasegawa kit is, the artwork's technically better, I suppose you'd say, but not as exciting. And the kit itself was, by those standards of the day, excellent. But of course, as I've said in a couple of the other videos, the Revell kits were about $1. The Matchbox kits were 2 something or about $3. And these Hasegawa ones were $4 something or closer to 5. So while I used to enjoy these kits, if I had the money, I'd be getting 2 Matchbox ones for 1 Hasegawa model. So then comparing the 3 fuselage sections with the Revell one at the bottom that you can't really see, but there's a lot of rivet detail there. Then the Hasegawa one, which interestingly had rivets which they didn't follow on in a lot of their later releases, I think. And then the Matchbox one, which is extremely undetailed, I suppose you'd say, compared to the other two, but they were all good. But of course, I was a fan of Matchbox first and foremost. So folks, thanks for sticking around and joining me as I've had a look at the Matchbox Zero from the 1972 initial release and the comparison with the Revell and Hasegawa kits that were available commonly in the 70s and 80s, well, where I was anyway. I've got a few different videos to come, some requests from people, and yeah, thank you for sticking around. I'm open to comments and suggestions. So please, let me know what you think and we will continue to see what we can look at. Cheers.